This knife has a straight edge on it, so it's very easy. And maybe in our world here, there lives a happy little mountain.
Oh hey, I didn't see you there. Welcome back to the second episode of a brand new series called Rocket's MotoMyths. In this series, I break down several motorcycling myths and replace them with actual facts and common sense.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
If you missed the last episode, there's a link down in the description where we talked about the myth that loud pipes save lives. We also talked about the epidemic of stupid in the world and how it seems to be spreading like a disease. Now, we've all been guilty of doing, saying, or even thinking stupid stuff from time to time, but it's important that we all strive to search for truth that is and not truth we feel. And that's basically the purpose of this series. If at any point you disagree with me in the topics that are discussed, feel free to point me to a link where I can see the facts without bias, and I'll be happy to continue the conversation below. Just remember, your opinion is not equal to actual facts. And with that, let's get on the bike and talk about our next moto myth of the day. Take a long enough road trip and you're bound to see a cruiser rider rolling down the road with something that looks like a soup bowl on their head, or sometimes even no helmet at all. This is an example of a brain so infected with stupidity that it can't even protect itself. Over the years, I've asked several of these riders why they choose to do this. They'll tell you that DOT helmets are only tested at 13 miles an hour, so crashing at highway speeds means you'll die either way. The most effective and convincing lie is one that has an element of truth. DOT certified helmets in fact are tested at 13 miles an hour. But when you crash, the first deadly thing you hit is the road. It's the vertical distance you travel when falling off that matters, not the lateral speed. The terminal velocity a head travels from 6 feet to the ground is 13.4 miles an hour. This is where most deaths actually occur. The speed on your speedometer is not as important in this case. If you fall off going 120, the likelihood of survival goes up exponentially with a helmet. Don't believe me? Just ask any MotoGP rider. They routinely fall off at over speeds of 210 miles an hour and live to ride another day. The other reason they walk away is that they wear proper gear and there is plenty of runoff. In other words, no bus benches, curbs, or walls. If you hit your head at highway speeds into a stationary object like a brick wall or a car, unless your name is Yammy Noob, you will most certainly die. No safety gear will protect you 100% of the time, but it's important to note that the majority of accidents where riders' skulls are impacted occur at less than 13 miles an hour. This small amount of speed is enough to kill you without a helmet, but with one, you have a far better chance of walking away. It takes very, very little to kill someone with an impact to the skull. The next question you might ask is, where do most impacts on the skull happen? A huge majority of impacts actually happen to the left and right sides of the face. A basic skull bucket does nothing to keep you alive in these instances, so a full-face helmet is by far the better option. There are so many reasons to wear a full-faced helmet that I could make a whole video on this topic alone. The only other point I'll make here is that helmets protect you from far more than just when you fall off. Have you ever been driving your car and had a rock flung at your face? Of course you have. Thankfully, it hit your windshield instead. That rock or projectile hit the glass with such force that it chipped or even cracked your windshield. If it wasn't for the protection of that specialty glass, your face would look a lot different right now. This episode was brought to you by Our Speed is Our Greed shirt, a shirt that spreads a good word to all those who ride. If you haven't checked out the DUDSBYROKKIT store on Etsy yet, there's no better time. Of course, there's lots to choose from beyond that. We're always adding inventory, so if nothing grabs you, be sure to check back often, or you can even request something specific in the comments down below. In the next episode of Rocket's MotoMyths, we discuss the dangers of using the front brake. Should you use it? Spoiler, yeah. And in that video, I'll tell you exactly why. If you like this flick or like what I do on this channel, hit that like button, as well as bash that subscribe button until it screams for mercy. And don't forget to ring that bell so you can be sure to catch the next Rocket flick. Until then, I'll see you out there. I just wanted to do a huge thank you to those who watch my stuff. The channel was never about getting internet famous, but when people like your work and want to see more, it's impossible not to take it as a huge compliment. I've made some amazing friends through this community, and to those who stuck with me when YouTube made me close to invisible, thank you. And to those who are new to the channel, welcome. YouTube doesn't send me an email every single time I get a new sub, so if you don't see your name, blame the engineers. But here's a few new subs that have joined the Rocket Army in the last few months. God, I gotta go inside, it's freezing.